They have just tried to bar President Trump from the Colorado ballot using an unconstitutional maneuver that is a bastardization of the 14th Amendment to our U.S. Constitution.
Donald Trump has been taken off the Colorado primary and general election ballot by the Supreme Court of Colorado, who has been notably aligned with the Ninth Circuit Court, who was aligned with California liberal judges. And this goes to show the politicization of the democratic process against Donald Trump. Yes, I understand that January 6th was a messed up thing. Trump should have handled that differently. But whether you love Trump or against Trump, this is against the democratic process. You cannot have these judicial means to go through loopholes. Yes, they are citing the 14th Amendment, stating that if there was an insurrection and if somebody was behind it, then that person has to be barred from public office. But in this case, he did not have armed assailants going on the Capitol. This was really just a subsequent attack from the left. If you consider this whole Russian collusion thing, which was a hoax, and then you have the COVID thing and all of that, and election disinformation, which prevented Trump from winning re-election. So yes, January 6th was an awful thing, but to go after Trump like this just because he just says things that are off the cuff and are very offensive, and I don't really agree with how he communicates because he uses outlandish terms and generalizes a lot, but you can't argue with the benefits of a Trump presidency. And the thing is a lot of Democrats, they are afraid, thinking that Trump is going to go after them, that there's going to be political revenge if he gets into office. And yes, maybe there would be political revenge, but that's not a totalitarian thing to do. He would have executive powers as president, but it would not be a dictatorship. Dictatorships are absolute power in which there is no pushback from the other parties or political leanings of the country. That's not what Trump was able to do even when he was president. So all of this politicization it's leading to a potential civil war. We do not want a civil war. And this barring Trump saying that he started an insurrection, it's really not true. That stipulation that they're citing at the circuit court is that, he cited the insurrection. He may have used inflammatory rhetoric, but this is making the left and right so angry, and the left is showing their cards too plainly for the public to see, and it's looking bad. So just imagine, if Trump gets elected, a lot of people aren't going to be happy on the left, and if Biden gets reelected, a lot of people on the right are not going to be happy. And the fact is, if Trump does not win, he and people on the MAGA right are going to blame Democrats for politicization of the court system. And that should not be the case. This needs to be a free society for voters to decide their will on how they want to be governed in this fine republic. And I think it's interesting that Vivek Ramaswamy, he weighed in on this, and he said that he was going to withdraw himself from the GOP ballot in Colorado because of what's going on.
This was a provision, Section 3, that was designed to bar Confederate members, people who switched to the Confederacy, from actually being able to serve. That's very different than what's at issue here, to say the least. This is a hollowed out husk of what the country was built on. The basic principle that we, the people, select our leadership, not the unelected elite class in the back of palace halls. That's old world Europe, not the United States. That's why I'm making a pledge today that I will withdraw, I pledge to withdraw from the Colorado GOP primary ballot unless and until Trump's name is restored. And I demand that Ron DeSantis and Chris Christie and Nikki Haley do the same thing, or else these Republicans are simply complicit in this unconstitutional attack on the way we conduct our constitutional republic. I refuse to be complicit in that. I think what they're doing is wrong, and I think it's up to Republicans to step up and stand up with a spine for our country's future. That's really what's at stake.
He's demanding that other GOP candidates do it as well. And I think that's not really good for him to try to demand that. I think it goes without saying that with his example, other GOP participants should not participate in that process until this is overturned. And Trump, of course, in the recent footage at his rallies, he's just saying, hey, this is good for me. Even his son, Trump Jr., probably both of them, are stating that, hey, this is just beneficial for Trump politically. And it's true. Anytime you attack Trump, he's just going to get stronger. His base is just going to be more pissed off and want to vote for him more.
It's no wonder crooked Joe Biden and the far-left lunatics are desperate to stop us by any means necessary. They are willing to violate the U.S. Constitution at levels never seen before in order to win this election. Joe Biden is a threat to democracy. It's a threat. They're weaponizing law enforcement for high-level election interference because we're beating them so badly in the polls. We will restore law and order to our communities, and I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical, out-of-control prosecutor, of which we have many.
If all this wasn't happening to Trump, I really think that Ron DeSantis would be polling a lot higher. And I personally like Ron DeSantis. He is actionable. He always takes action, and he has a track record that a lot of politicians don't have. He's doing a fine job in Florida, and the thing is Ron DeSantis is not given enough credit for that. And I think that this whole thing with Trump is really ridiculous, and I really don't know if the Democrats are having backroom discussions saying, hey, let's push Trump to the front this way, we know what we're doing, at the same time trying to sabotage him, and this is a strategy in which they will get into office this next time around. But what do you think? What do you think of this strategy is over there? What is going on? Is it really just Trump derangement syndrome at an all-new extreme at the expense of our country and the voting process? So be sure to comment, participate, and then also like and subscribe for additional commentary to come.